The Moto X line was once synonymous with pure Android on lean hardware at a reasonable price. It's been absent for the past couple of years as Motorola pushed towards a new modular experience at the high end, but now it's back with a new look, dual cameras and Amazon Alexa on board. From IFA 2017 in Berlin, this is our first look at the new Moto X4. Okay, so this phone doesn't look anything like the Moto X you might remember from the days when it was a Google company. Instead, there's a lot of Moto G DNA influencing an all-new design fashioned out of metal and glass. In the grand scheme of the smartphone industry right now, there's nothing out of the ordinary about that, but considering this is a €399 phone, premium materials are definitely welcome. While it's not as spectacular as the current crop of high-enders, it does stand apart from the mess of cheap metal-bodied phones we're seeing right now at lower price points. Two sheets of Gorilla Glass 3 make up this aluminium sandwich, with a curved back panel sporting metallic texture in both the super black and sterling blue colours. The 5.2-inch display size means it's still easy to one-hand despite the rather slippery glass rear, and the screen itself, a 1080p IPS LCD, looks great. Plenty of Motorola design traits have held over elsewhere, including the front-facing fingerprint scanner and the sizable camera bulge around the back, housing dual cameras which we'll get to later. So if the twin cameras or lack of Moto mod support didn't give the game away, the priorities for this phone are a bit different from your average Moto G5 or Z2. It's water resistant for one, rated IP68, but the screen is plain old Gorilla Glass 3, so it's not shatter resistant by any means. On the inside, you're looking at solid middle-of-the-road specs. Qualcomm's new mid-range beast, the Snapdragon 630, powers the Moto X4 with 3 or 4 GB of RAM and 32 or 64 GB of storage depending on where you buy it. There's no wireless charging, but the built-in 3000 mAh power pack should be good for at least a day's use and features Moto's turbocharging capabilities. And that kind of spec sheet might make for a relatively plain phone were it not for the dual camera rig around the back. Motorola's followed LG's lead here, using the secondary lens for 120-degree wide-angle photography. The 8-megapixel image size isn't anything to write home about, but it is still fun to capture these wider, more dramatic images with just a single shutter press. The main camera lacks optical stabilization, which is unfortunate, but the rest of the camera hardware looks solid. You've got a 12-megapixel sensor, dual autofocus pixels, an f2 lens, and 1.4 micron pixels. All the ingredients are there for pretty good photos, especially in middling to bright light, plus the presence of a newer Snapdragon chip means 4K video is supported too. On the software side, there's an awful lot in the Moto X4 we've seen before, Moto's light touch of customization atop Android 7.1. The smattering of handy features we've seen in the current Moto G and Z phones like Moto Display, the ever-useful wrist flick gesture for the camera, and of course Moto Voice, make for a powerful pure Android experience. The big new software feature this time is Amazon Alexa, which is baked into the firmware and can spring to life to answer your commands.
Alexa, who's the Prime Minister of Canada?
So that's the Moto X4. First impressions are of a phone that's solid, but not necessarily super exciting in a way that previous Moto X phones have been for us. Part of that is because Moto just has so many phones right now, but there's also so little tying this Moto X to the fondly remembered 2013 to 2015 models. In any case, in terms of being a good phone at a reasonable mid-tier price, the Moto X4 hits the mark, and we'll have more to say in our full review once we've spent more time with it. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of our Android coverage from IFA 2017 here in Berlin.